John Colley Stoner. I'm Scott Stoner. I'm an Episcopal priest. I've been so for 31 years. And during that same time, I've also been a licensed marriage and family therapist. And so I have had the honor to not just, I get to do it all. I love it. I get to marry couples, and I get to bless their relationships, and I get to do the premarital counseling, and then in my work as a counselor, if a couple is in a difficult place or just in a place where they want to grow, I get to work with them with the ongoing building and maintaining of that relationship as well. But we've been married for 36 years.
36 years. We have 3 grown children.
We met in 6th grade confirmation class. How's that? In an Episcopal church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, we did.
Say a little bit about your background.
Well, he's been being a priest. I've been a teacher, and we've raised 3 children into adulthood. Now we're grandparents. As a teacher, I always was fully aware of what was going on in children's lives at home, which a lot of times had to do with the relationships that the adults were having in their life. So I became very interested in this from that point of view as well.
Let's start by explaining what we mean by this phrase, standing in love. It's our way of talking about love in a little different way than perhaps the dominant culture, not perhaps, definitely different than the dominant culture talks about love. Our approach to love is grounded more in faith and in spirituality. The culture talks a lot. There are countless, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of songs. There are so many movies made about the experience of falling in love, which is a wonderful, beautiful, awesome experience.
But it doesn't last that long. Once you fall, then you're in it.
Exactly. Then you need to learn how to stand in love. The falling in love is in the initial stage, and it is, again, it is amazing, it is wonderful. It's not, and it's somewhat the easy part, but it's the part that we keep getting shown over and over again, and so we might get the idea that that's what love is like on an ongoing basis. The prime example of this, and I remember because our daughters were, I think, 13 or 14, okay, maybe 10. They were in that formative age. I think it was a little bit older, but when they went to see the Titanic,
yes.
The movie, and it was recently had its some re-release, and had a 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic, so the movie came back. But this movie was described, and I still hear it described, as the greatest love story of our generation. I'm sorry, but that to me is a joke. I mean, a love story? These people knew each other for 3 days. They knew each other, maybe it was 2 months. Maybe it was a week. It was a great fall. I'm not sure they were falling in love, but it was a great story of lust and 2 people coming together, and that's fine. I'm not judging that, but don't call it love, and certainly don't call it the greatest love story. They didn't even know each other. Now, if what's his name, Jack, had survived and lived, then the hard work would have begun. When they arrived in port and they figured out, now how do we actually sustain a relationship and build a relationship, especially coming from such 2 different backgrounds. It would have been, now, if they had done that over 30 years and they made a movie about that, then we might say, now there's a great love story. So it's just an example of, in our culture, we get this image of that love is all about the emotion in the fireworks. And certainly there is an ongoing sense of that kind of romantic love that is part of a healthy couple relationship. But a lot of the relationship is about learning how to stand in love.
Absolutely. And people, we're both marriage and family therapists, so sometimes, frequently, we are meeting with couples who are having a hard time standing in love.
Yes.
And frequently they will say that whatever the problem is their partner's fault. They can see what their partner is doing wrong, and that's annoying them, and they want their partner to change. And sometimes it takes some conversations to help them see that they are helping co-create this relationship, and that it is 2 people in a relationship, and they each are responsible for part of what's going on, and that if each person were to change a little bit, the relationship would change a little bit, and that really, that I sometimes say, you 2 are the only one in this relationship. You are the ones, when arguments come up, who react the way you do. And if anybody's going to change this, it needs to be you two. And they seem sort of surprised sometimes to hear that because they want to blame somebody else. But standing in love is also being partly in looking at your own part in whatever it is that's the struggle.
I love that, because you're right. A lot of people, when they're unhappy in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, they will talk about that relationship as if it's happening to them, and that they're not co-creating. I love that term, co-creating. We are the co-creators of a relationship. And so if we can learn some effective tools, we will be better co-creators. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in the next section in the rest of this class.